I'm joined by Simon and Steve here from Tokeo Pay. So, new project here. It's another wallet entering the Cardano ecosystem, but with good reason. And I really like what you guys are doing here, your approach. I've played with the wallet for quite extensively now. I haven't given direct feedback through the app or anything yet, but I've been playing around and had some questions and whatnot about it. But we're going to learn a little bit more about this one. Guys, welcome back to the podcast.
Thanks again for having us, Pete. On the back of the Catalyst proposal or the Catalyst Summit, are we calling it
Catalyst Workshop?
On the back of the Catalyst Workshop, which Pete had organised. It's being passionate Australians, it's great to have the Aussies sort of come together. Sometimes we've got a small community here, but it's vibrant. So yeah, it's great. Look, I suppose the question a lot of people are asking is why another wallet? For us. We looked at the ecosystem and what was in play. We also found that a lot of the wallet experiences on Cardano were, desktop extensions which had general send and receive functionality and held, obviously custody of your assets, but they didn't do a lot more. We really looked at the stuff that the guys from Vespa had done, and we really commend those guys. They've done a really great job, but we thought there was more. We wanted to look at sort of IRL products as well, and started having a look around banking apps, knowing that 95% of transactions for IRL transactions, are done via mobile. So we really wanted to try to drive a mobile experience which gave people, the ability to trade from their phone or do things from their phone without having to have, Tap Tools open or Dex Hunter open and working across multiple screens. So that was the birth of Tokeo.
Well, I've used, I think, every wallet in the Cardano ecosystem so far. So, I've definitely got the experience there. And Tokeo so far, from my experience, has been quite nice and clean, especially that wallet creation experience. That was, always the first impression. It's like, got to test a brand new wallet, got to set up a new seed phrase and all that stuff. But no, not this case. It's quite nice and smooth. Can we talk about some of these features and some of the inspiration that you guys got from this?
Yeah, 100%, Pete. Okay, so from a wallet experience per se, how would I put it? Our initial assumptions from the ecosystem wallets, the experience could be a lot more intimate. Wallets are the first stop for anybody currently in the Cardano ecosystem and also those new to the ecosystem. So onboarding, case in point, was probably something we put a lot of energy into, guiding that user through coming onto Tokeo and then also instructing them through various things that they need to learn with respect to how wallets work and also the broader ecosystem. I still remember when I first entered into the crypto space, it's confusing. First of all, you're told to go onto an exchange whereby you end up buying 10 or 12 different coins, right? Then the next narrative comes out and you're asked to get your coins off the exchange, not your keys, not your wallet. So your next task as a user to the ecosystem is then to go and sift through the multiple wallets. And as a result, what we wanted to do in Tokeo, my apologies, was to really refine that experience, build up that intimacy. After all, it is an application that's storing all of your wealth and make it as easy as possible. One of the things we remember, or we should all remember, is storing your keys is a confusing thing. Yeah. Downloading a browser extension, what we don't know is that most of the real world don't know what extensions are. So the barrier to entry to crypto is currently is quite big. Yep. And the strategy we took with Tokeo is to really reduce that, refine the experience, make it as easy as you can to onboard, and build up that intimacy, which will, that's us.
Yeah, I think that one of the things that, reflecting on what Magic's just said, Cardano has often been seen as a siloed experience. We all need additional liquidity, and that helps everyone. It's it helps every project out. And I know it's been a tough winter for people. We've got some respite around the corner from that, but we want to make it as easy, break down as many barriers as possible to get people into the ecosystem, which ultimately drives more liquidity and and helps everyone out. So I think that was part of the ethos. We also put some features together in Tokyo, which removes some steps. We signed a partnership agreement with Coinbase Pay, which actually allows you to top up your ADA in the middle of a transaction if you run short. It's happened to all of us. Really? Yeah, so you can, it certainly happens to me. So, you can on and off ramp for, fiat, essentially from a click inside the app. I myself, do that step all of the time. And, that involves us having to trade a native token for ADA over to Coinbase rather. Coinbase then into the ADA sold into fiat then on the off ramp. There's a lot of steps there. So Tokyo is all about removing barriers, and we just want to make it easy to use.
And I'd add to that in respect to, again, that new user experience when you're coming on, and we heard it today in the workshop with respect to, I don't know how many dApps there are out there, but it's got to be into the hundreds, almost thousands, right? So a new user coming into our ecosystem needs to be educated through that. Education was a big topic today. We see our wallet as being that first stop as well. So as a result, key features that we've mentioned here are the ability to swap tokens within the wallet natively, but also to provide that information that you need to contextualize that swap. Guido had mentioned earlier that, we do require ourselves at the moment to use multiple dApps across the ecosystem. As a new user, you're bombarded with all of these DEXs, NFT marketplaces, lending, it goes on and on and on. Yeah. And we certainly see the wallet having a role, an educational role in that, and also to aggregate the aggregators to lift that functionality up and to make it very easy for new users to interact with Cardano broadly.
From using the app itself, first off, I think the apps are definitely the very first point where a lot of people enter any ecosystem.
Absolutely.
They pull out their phone, just load up a particular wallet, and what your TokeoPay does, it gives the exposure to every project on Cardano. NFTs, DeFi space, borrowing, lending, it's all there at your fingertips, which I think is absolutely brilliant. And to be able to do a swap, which I was just corrected today because I didn't look too deeply, you just go to the swap screen and it integrates in with those various aggregators, accessing all the liquidity across all the different DEXs that they're integrated into. So, that kind of experience and approach, I think, is absolutely brilliant. And the smooth user experience that you got from it, I think, is really cool too. I'm assuming you had to do some sort of partnership with DEX aggregators, like a DEX Hunter or something.
Yeah, and we're proud of our partnerships as well. And again, to the strategy that is Tokyo is again, not only being that one-stop shop, but we also see ourselves as that aggregator. So we're lifting up, where we're surfacing some of the key features within Cardano, the key applications, DEX Hunter being one of those. We've got a great relationship with Malin. He's built an amazing product. It was definitely, let's say, almost a light bulb moment in terms of the commercialization with respect to wallets, is how do you actually keep a sustainable business. So actually, there's multiple reasons why we do that. Obviously, there's a commercial aspect, but also consolidating and having that single point to access features across the board. So yeah, there's been a lot of work. TapTools is another great partner that we've got and integrated in. We do a lot of work. Those guys have a good commercial model now with respect to, every API call has a cost to it, and we've done a lot of work which we see as a competitive edge in terms of how we interact with those guys, how we've architected the app. I won't go too deep into that, but that does support and facilitate the zero lag user experience, the smooth onboarding, and that real native feel, which will keep you coming back and keep you stuck to Tokyo.
That's the other thing I found with the swap kind of experience. Like, everything is there for you.
Yeah.
All the charts, all the data is there, and even educational material. If you go down a little bit further, you can see related content that might be about that particular token that you're looking at. So it's all there at your fingertips and makes it so much easier compared to other experiences where you have to go to a different browser tab, a different mobile app, and it just is a little bit more clunky. But what you guys have done is looking absolutely brilliant there. And I encourage anyone to jump on your community to try and get beta access at the moment to give you guys feedback and see what it's like.
I think we're only a week away now, so probably by the time
Forget the beta access.
Yeah, probably by the time this airs, you'll just be able to go straight to the App Store and download. We really wanted to get the product into users' hands. We've taken a lot of time crafting something very carefully, which we think is going to bode really well. But so we've started with iOS, soon to be followed by Android and desktop. We've got some pretty unique and great ideas about how we're going to deliver that too. In our fashion, or for those that know us within the ecosystem, we really develop for the end user, and we feel like we've really delivered here. One of the key features that we were driving towards was we work very closely with Maestro and the team now. We have done for a long time, and they're very close partners of ours. Great partners to have, obviously, super well respected, and real innovators in the space. So one of the first things that we're working on now is the cross-chain swaps. We feel like, as I said at the start, introducing liquidity into Cardano is so important. And if we can create a seamless way in which you can trade your Bitcoin, you can do cross-chain swaps, you can have a look at an aggregated portfolio view, for an example, and say, well, okay, this is what I hold in Bitcoin, this is what I've, here's some ordinals in here, and have a look at an aggregated portfolio view. It's one of those one-stop shops that kind of gets addictive to look at. I know when I've had those aggregators, it's kind of like, you can't stop looking at it. It's like every 2 hours you're checking your portfolio. It becomes addictive.
Because you have everything there at your fingertips.
Yeah. And modern lives dictate, a different style of trading. Like, I don't want to be, carrying a satchel bag with my laptop if I'm going out for dinner and I want to do a trade, or and having those multiple things. You want to be able to click on.
Do you do that?
I have done if I've had something important going on. Yeah. But I try to avoid it. But this really gives you the ability just to trade on the spot on your phone. NFTs, for example, we aggregate the NFT marketplaces. You can strike it scans all of the marketplaces and has a look at the latest offers. You can strike an offer on an NFT live from your phone on your way out, or maybe if you've just run out of cash at a bar or something, So you can sort of do it on the spot.
For another drink.
Yeah, something like that. Drinking is, drink responsibly. But
thanks for that.
That's okay.
Well, it's really exciting that you guys are launching really soon, and people will be able to get access to this really, really soon as well. And I know that you guys have a lot of experience in developing ISO apps on iOS specifically, which makes that whole app experience a lot better than using progressive web apps or any of these other ones that use wrappers around it. So it's a really big edge there as well.
I was going to add to that, Pete. With respect to, we have taken the choice to develop our applications using the native frameworks, and this might lead into a little bit around security as well. Part of the reason, and we were just having a discussion earlier at this forum around security, and there are certain backdoors that come with those frameworks that you refer to. With respect to how native apps are built, JavaScript injection attacks, and all sorts of things that can get through the deployment process. So the native apps allow us to do a couple of things. Now, with respect to Apple specifically, we take use of or take advantage of the hardware-based encryption that you get with the phones. So I'd argue that's probably the more secure approach compared to, well, certainly a browser extension. Look, the hardware wallets even. Your phone is your hardware wallet. The encryption that you get from that is paramount. The world runs on the encryption that Apple provides us. So we feel it's a much more secure approach to develop natively. Second to that, the frameworks have come along such a way that allow you to actually interact with the operating system. For example, little widgets that we can now display, the rich notifications, all of the little prompts and things that come native out of the phone right now. We'll be building those, and some of those are already there, but they'll roll out very quickly and act as a differentiator compared to some of our competitors as well.
On the security front too, look, it is something that is paramount to us. When you're starting to talk cross-chain swaps, there's a lot of talk about, breaches on bridges, breaches on bridges, and, we are really taking those things very seriously. We have just engaged a commercial partner to do an ISO 27001 audit. So it will be, and I think it will be the first app on that's been fully audited.
Possibly.
Yeah, I think so. I know some other guys are working on that too, and that's something that we certainly think is really important to our offering. Further to that too, the front the sort of the front end or the a lot of the security features will be open source too. So we if you want to go and check what we've done and how we've built it and what we're doing about security, we're always open to that. We want to make the experience as safe and secure as possible, and that's really paramount for us.
Yeah, and you just touched upon ISO 27001, and for those that aren't aware of that, there's two forms of security that we need to do as an application. The first is organisational security, which is what the ISO 27001 refers to, and that's making sure that our individuals at work don't leak passwords, that we're handling information in a secure way. So that program, in my IRL history, we worked in corporate IT for highly secure organisations, so we've gone through that process before. That is a process that takes anywhere between 6 to 9 months. There's a bit of compliance and a historical audit that occurs, but that's commencing immediately with us at the moment. So that's the first aspect, to make sure that we're actually a secure organisation. The second aspect is to make sure that the code's doing everything that it should do, and we're not mishandling the keys. There are no leakages. There isn't the chance of you having your wallet drained. And to achieve that, we'll do a secure code audit, and as Guido had just mentioned, we'll then open source that to allow the community to also verify.
Awesome. Okay. Brilliant approach to the security side of things, and it should make people more comfortable in using the wallet as well, because most of the time people download it and go, do I restore my wallet on here? Should I don't know what's going on here. So having that fully open source, having other people, really skilled developers vet it and confirm that it is good stuff, and then also the ISO certification too. And
I'll come back to the MinSwap. Like, that was 2 years ago now, wasn't it? When MinSwap was breached, they'd gone through a third-party audit, but it was a community that found the hole. And they actually used that hole to then drain the contracts and push that liquidity into the contracts without the hole. So there's a lot to be said around the open source aspect of what we're going to do. Or code available is the terminology we'll be using.
Okay. Now you guys also have an ISPO coming up, which means there's a token behind Tokeo Pay too?
There sure is. So we're a fully tokenized business. We've just concluded our private sale. We've been really fortunate to be well supported, and it's kept the lights on for us. We've been through quite a long journey, and it's great to have some backing. But we also want to get community involvement as well. And ISPO is a great, the token in terms of its utility, will carry with it things like reduction in fees. It will also carry full access, like a AAA pass, across all of the features within the site. Not straight away, but we do plan to have a pro model, which allows some additional trading features. Having token will certainly give you access to those type of things. From an ISPO perspective, we actually launched the ISPO today.
Oh, right. Congrats.
So congrats. Yeah, so it's been really well supported so far today. We want to get as many people involved in the project as possible. The ISPO will run for 34 epochs and will conclude on the 15th of November, which will trigger a TGE. But, we're working with a range of different stake pool partners, which we're integrating now. The ISPO certainly helps us with funding along the way, but more importantly, we want as many people to be token holders and involved in the project as possible, and that fosters a really great community. If we can have a lot of holders that are excited about the project, it buoys us along. We've just finished our beta. We had 75 people in the beta. So far we've got an overall success rating of 1 to 5, and we're sitting at a 4.85 in terms of satisfaction so far. So that's something we're really chuffed about. But again, right from the start, we had 75 people, a lot of well-known people from the ecosystem as well, in there really putting the app through its paces. And same thing with ISPOs, it's all about fostering community engagement for us. So if we can get people holding the tokens, go out, jump on the ISPO, there'll be some great benefits, and look, we hope to give you guys a great return as well.
Brilliant. I'll put all the links and references in the show notes so you can learn more about the tokenomics, the vesting schedules, ISPO, all that stuff, so we can get into a lot of details. Like, please do your own research before getting into any of these token launches, et cetera, et cetera. So all the links down below in the show notes.
Awesome.
Anything else that you guys want to add to the interview for the audience?
Look, I think just on a closing note, you know, I think I've pretty much, like you, Pete, have been on every wallet. I pretty much all of them, and have had experience in all of the wallets. Give it a spin. You know, sort of jump in, try it out. It's pretty easy to set up a wallet. You know, get your seed phrase, recreate a wallet, and yeah, give us a try.
Like I said, all the links in the show notes down below, so you can find out a little bit more about Tokeo Pay and the ISPO and everything else. Guys, thank you so much for joining me on this podcast episode, and good luck with the launch of the wallet next week.
Cheers, Pete. Thanks a lot.
Thanks so much for having us, Pete. Appreciate it.
Thank you.